Welcome to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And today's show is brought to you by the Pilsner House and Beer Garden. Please visit our friends at 1422 Grand Street. Have a beer, have a pretzel, have a great chicken sandwich as we enjoyed a few weeks ago, and have a great time. And a person that knows all about, I shouldn't even say this, eating, because she's in unbelievable shape.
Shout out my trainer.
Shout out to her trainer. Go ahead.
John P. Fitness.
Don't
Stop Crying Studios down in downtown Hoboken. Gotta shout him out.
100%. And you know what? We do get questions about that, Daria.
Really?
People are like, she posts all this delicious food. She looks like she's always eating. How does she look that good? Now we know.
Trainer John. Trainer John. We gotta get him on here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And by the way, this is Daria Peace from at Hoboken Eats, formerly Delucia.
I had to
say
Piace.
Pace, exactly. Last week we started a kind of a new segment where we discussed places that you've been traveling to, since you are our Places Insider. And you spoke about your honeymoon, which is down at Bora Bora. Now we're going to talk about something that was probably a lot more rowdy than your honeymoon. And that was where you did your bachelorette party, which was in Scottsdale, Arizona. Why did you pick Scottsdale?
So honestly, because I wanted to go somewhere that I hadn't been before.
Oh.
I like to have a good time, but I didn't want to go to Vegas for only because I had been to Vegas, and I just feel like Vegas could be a hard place to get a big group of girls.
I agree.
Right? Like I just feel like it's such a. I was there with one other girl, like one of my best friends. We were there together, and it was so easy to make plans. You didn't have a lot of, you know what I mean? It was just like, and we have to keep track of everyone. I don't know how to keep, because I'm usually the one people need to keep track of. So that's why I was like, we can't do a big group in Vegas. But I wanted to go somewhere warm. So Scottsdale, no one had been to Scottsdale before. It was reasonably priced to go out there. The huge houses to stay in make great for bachelorette parties. So it all together.
And how many girls were you?
There was like 15.
15 girls in one house.
15 of us, yeah.
And the house was amazing. I mean,
the house was insane.
Talk to me about the house. Yeah.
The house was insane. Shout out to the bridal party and the maids of honors who found this house. It was, first of all, massive. Second of all, a golf course, basketball court, go-karts.
Where the house was?
In the backyard. 2 pools, one with a waterfall, volleyball court, ping pong tables. I said mini golf.
Mini golf. I thought you meant like an actual.
No, mini golf. And they had life-size bowling, like massive bowling pins. Yeah, and then the little go-kart like track to go around, like
in the house.
Outside the house, on the backyard.
I'm sorry, on the property of the house.
On the property, in the fence. And 2 pools.
That's amazing.
2 pools.
That's
and they
amazing.
had like a swim-up bar with a grill and in a refrigerator to put all the drinks in, and they had like a separate second little house for people to stay in as well. That was like all there.
Phenomenal. Did anybody stay in that second house, or you guys were just crashing the first house?
It's like funny because it's like you have to break up your bachelorette party, like your high school friends, your college friends. Some of Matt's college and high school friends came. I had my friends from like growing up that were there. So it's kind of like everyone roomed based on like their so my high school friends stayed in there. So
very, very interesting. But I love that reason. It's a place that you haven't been to before.
Yeah.
Arizona, especially the Scottsdale area, is certainly an up and coming area.
Yes.
For tourists, I feel that there's many different people have told me that I need to visit, because I like to travel, as people know, that I need to visit Arizona. Why do you think that is? Besides obviously the weather being nice all year.
The weather being nice, but also like there's a really good food scene. There's a really fun nightlife. It's also super close to a lot of attractions. Mm-hmm. So some of my girlfriends went a few days early, and they did. They went to where in Arizona. Oh my goodness, I can't think of the name of it. But it's a tourist attraction. It's
the Grand Canyon.
It might have been the Grand Canyon, but it also was like it's another area that you go and you can hike through.
Okay.
Yes, but. They went there and they had a nice time before. Just because it's like you're going all the way out there, there's a lot more to do than just the eating and drinking. I want my bachelorette party to be eating and drinking and fun and in the pool and stuff like that. So that's what that was focused on. But there's so much more out there to do than just that.
Than just that. And speaking of eating and drinking, you are our expert on all things food here. I think Arizona, and I think, okay, there's a huge Mexican population there. So I'm thinking maybe the Mexican food is probably the go-to. Am I right or wrong? And if I'm wrong, what else?
You are right. It's interesting because on the first night there, we went to this place called Herb Box. It was like all like vegetarian food, which I'm not vegetarian, but it was like that was a lot of the food that we were seeing out there in the downtown area. So we went there for the first night, and the second night I went to a Mexican restaurant, and it was because this Friday night was like our big night out. So we started there before we went to this bar called Riot House. But the Mexican food was phenomenal. The birria quesadillas, we all had tacos, guacamole, ordered multiple rounds of it. Like it was just, the food was really good, really fresh. But it was really hot sitting outside eating Mexican food. That was everyone was like, it's gonna be like 100-something degrees while you're there. But
it's a dry heat.
It is. We never felt the heat once. We never were hot except for at that one dinner. I think there was no breeze blowing through. And then like, you're sitting down for that long. So we got a little hot that time, but all of the bars are like all windows open. We never felt hot. Like we were outside all day Friday at the pool. Like never felt like, oh my God. Whereas like 102 degrees in New Jersey, please, which is 88, and I'm like, I'm not going outside.
Exactly. The humidity kills here.
Yeah.
It really does. And remind me, what month did you go down there?
So we went in August.
Oh, wow. And wow, because I know in the summer it could get real hot.
August, yeah, and I didn't realize that. Not only is it like the hottest time to go, it's also monsoon season, which if you guys tuned in last week, you know that I also talked about me going on my honeymoon during monsoon season. So I'm off brand on most seasons.
I mean, well, if you can get a decent deal, I mean, right or wrong.
But to that point, it rained every single night at like 11:30 at night. In Scottsdale, at 11:30 at night.
That's
so it didn't affect us. Didn't affect us at all.
Yeah.
And
that's what they say.
It didn't though. The night was like, or maybe I don't. It was when we were leaving the club every time.
There you go.
It didn't affect us, and we were inside. And then it was fine all day, blue skies, perfect weather, and it actually also rained. We went to Maya Day Club on Saturday.
Is that like a pool party type of place?
That was my favorite. That was my favorite day of the whole. That was a lot of fun. It ended up downpouring.
At the pool party, but who cares? You're at a pool party.
It made it. It was when the pool was closing, and it was time to transition into like going back. It was like 5 o'clock. I have no clue what time it was, but it was time to close down the pool. We had so much fun in the rain, in the pool. Like it's just if you make the best of it. But yeah, Maya was fun. Maya was a good time.
Maya was fun. Now, I think of Scottsdale, and you mentioned this a little earlier in the segment about Las Vegas. I mean, people just want to go to Vegas. That's where my brother's bachelor party was, and trust me, it was a great time. However, I mean, when you think of Scottsdale, I mean, would you recommend that to anybody doing a bachelor or bachelorette party?
100%. 100%. It's the best of all worlds. You can be low key, have downtime. Like Friday, we stayed at the house all day. Like that's what I wanted. You know what I mean? You can entertain yourself there at the house. And you're able to get a house big enough that is entertaining for the full day, which you can't really get that in a lot of places. It had plenty of us to do. The downtown nightlife was so much fun. The food was really great everywhere we went. And again, it's convenient. Everything's close enough that you can stay not in downtown and still have a good time getting to all the places.
What else do you want? Good food, good eats.
Good drinks.
From Daria at Hoboken Eats. Huh?
I like that.
Yeah, of course she said drinks. I get it. Well, Daria, thank you so much. We will see you back here next week, and you're going to give us another place that you went to and of fantastic food.
Can't wait.
I mean, get ready, right?
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm
I'm
starving.
I'm ready to jump on a plane and go somewhere else now.
Amen. Thanks again. Really, really appreciate it. All right, folks. We will be right back. Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to go on our Facebook and our Instagram pages by searching The Pulse with Peter B. and like and follow us on each of those platforms. We're constantly updating those pages with previews of each week's segments and cool stories. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our email address at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com.
Welcome back. I'm your host of this segment with the most, and I'm so happy on this episode to be joined by Kevin Guaderas, owner, proprietor, entrepreneur of Long Shot Pistol and Rifle here in Secaucus in Hudson County, New Jersey. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me on board. I love your show, and you made me sound really good. Thanks, Josh.
Well, I've talked to you a couple of times before, and I know you also sound pretty good. So in your own right, but tell us the story of Long Shot. How did you end up owning this wonderful business?
You know, I've had a couple of different careers. I used to buy and sell electricity companies in South America. I have a print company that do a lot of printing, mailing, stuff like that in Paterson, New Jersey. And one of my clients and I became very good friends, and we just sat around, chewing the rag and said we should open a gun range. And so we met for a year on Saturday mornings and crunched numbers, and we started canvassing different towns in Bergen County. Was going nowhere, and we hit pay dirt in Hudson County here in Secaucus. Happy to be here.
Now, that's so interesting. So did you grow up shooting? Were you a gun person beforehand?
No, the first time I ever shot a gun, I was 18 when a friend got back from boot camp, and not again until about 3 years ago. So I am not a stereotypical gun range, gun store owner. My passion is showing new entrants into the firearms community, how to get their feet wet and how to select a gun, how to understand how to transport a gun, how to be a responsible homeowner if you have kids, don't have kids. And there's not a lot of places where you can get all this information. And New Jersey is not really an easy state to own a gun. So that's my space. I mean, I have a bunch of folks here that work here that are, Navy SEALs, Rangers, law enforcement. But me, I like sticking with the brand new folks, and that's my passion.
So talking about, when you're talking about safety and teaching people how to be safe and enjoy the shooting sports, I had to sign up on this iPad. Can you walk through the process when someone wants to find out what shooting's all about,
Sure.
how it works when they get here?
Absolutely. So first of all, safety is paramount in every range in New Jersey, especially. There's only about 13 ranges in New Jersey that are privately owned but open to the community, so walk-ins, right? Not just closed clubs. So our range is a little bit different in that not only do we make you fill out some waivers and adult registrations, but we make you take a 30-minute class with our instructor. I feel that it would be irresponsible of us just to hand you a gun and say we'll teach you on the range. So everybody that comes here, it's a rigorous process. It allows us also 30 full minutes to speak to every person to see if everybody's in the right mindset, so that we can have just a safer environment for everybody that's walking through the door, not just the people that are coming to shoot, but my employees and the community as a whole. Our process is rigorous, our process is very structured, and knock on wood, we haven't had any problems yet.
Thank God. Now, I know I felt safe here. What's the deal with the gentlemen or gentlewomen in the red shirts that say RSO on them?
So that's a range safety officer. All my range safety officers are here primarily to make sure that everyone is safe. So if it's your first time holding a gun, if you're coming in from New York where you can't hold a pistol unless you have a license, and we're the first range right over the border from New York. We're the first stop from Penn Station to Secaucus Junction. We're 3 miles away from the Lincoln Tunnel, 4 miles away from GWB. So we get a lot of people on the weekends. We get about 750 people every month come through here just from New York City. So we're very adept at helping people who've never touched a gun before how to get processed, get comfortable, and then go on the range. My range safety officers, that's what they do. They make you comfortable, they bring you on the range, they're always behind you so that if you forget what you're doing, because it gets loud in there, it's a little bit disorienting, you put the gun down, turn around, they're right behind you. You have a question, you put the gun down, turn around, right behind you. If there's a malfunction, if there's a misfire, they're right behind you the entire way. All of my range officers are there for just primarily looking Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to keep you safe. Monday through Thursday, they're also cross-trained as instructors. So if you're here on a Tuesday afternoon and we're kind of slow, they're not only going to keep you safe, but they're going to step in because they're gun folks. They're going to help you with your grip, your stance. You kind of get like a free tutor, free lesson. So my range safety officers are the heart and soul of our range operations.
Well, I mean, that brings me to my next question. Are there classes, say I want to learn how to shoot a shotgun or shoot a rifle or shoot a pistol, more effectively and enjoy that sport even more? Are there classes? Are there clubs? What can people expect? Once they're in the next level after they've shot a couple of times, they've rented a couple of times, maybe they own a gun, maybe they still don't own a gun, but they want to learn how to do so better with their wife, with their girlfriend, with their friends.
So great questions. Number one is, let's start with the instructional side. So regardless of your level of experience and proficiency, from beginners to experts, we have classes for you. We have a beginner pistol, beginner rifle, beginner shotgun. We have a range of NRA courses as well. We have clubs that you can come and shoot. I say make friends, shoot more, get better. So you can join one of our leagues, a Glock league. It's a nationwide league. We do phenomenal, 20, 30 people shoot on the weekends. We have pistol leagues for those who don't own Glocks, so we call that the open league. Any pistol that's semi-automatic from a 44 Magnum on down, you can come and shoot. We've got a tactical pistol club that meets Thursday nights, and then we do some independent shooting on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Thursday nights is with the instructor. So we help you go on down range. So after a while, if you become proficient shooting in a stationary air-conditioned environment on a paper target that's not moving, we'll help you get your marksmanship. But after that, if you want to go downrange into defensive scenarios, right? If you bought a gun because you want to make sure that your family stays safe, then you know that real world happens in a real world scenario, you have to be able to move and shoot with that gun. So for that, you take holster 1, holster 2, tactical pistol 1, and you take a different path. After about shooting for 6 months, we find out what kind of shooter you can be. You tell us what kind of shooter you want to be. Do you want to be precision pistol and shoot, 22 LR at 50 yards? Do you want to be a competition shooter for stationary shooting? Do you want to go downrange and shoot IDPA, USPSA, IPSEC? So there's a lot of different things. There's a lot of different segments of our community. I feel like I'm focusing only on pistol because that's what I'm into right now. But my next level is precision rifle. So we go out to Pennsylvania with our members. We go to Cherry Ridge, which is the Association of New Jersey Pistol and Rifle Clubs state range. It's in Cherry Ridge, New Jersey, and it's phenomenal. We go out there. There's a 100-yard, 200-yard, 300-yard range, and we'll teach you how to shoot long-range precision. So there's a lot to do. Come in and get your feet wet. Find where you are. Find somebody to train with. The more we get to know you, the more we'll head you down a certain path to achieve your own goals.
So just so people know, after you finish your paperwork and then you see the video and you have the half-an-hour instruction, when you rent your gun, because I don't own a gun, I've only rented, you choose at the rental counter and it's given to you in a lock case. You bring it to one of the bays where you shoot, and the range safety officer unlocks it for you. So at all points, you're 100% safe. Nobody's walking around with loaded firearms in the lobby or the rental area. And another question for you is, does Longshot also sell guns for those who have permits and firearms ID?
Absolutely. And if you don't have a permit or a firearms ID, we can provide resources, some guidance on how you fill that out yourself, so we can help you get that. We have a full service store. We're an FFL dealer, which means that if you buy a gun online, we can help you transfer it here. We can get it to your possession, and we've got a full store, so pistol, rifle, shotguns. We're the only range in the entire county, in Hudson County, we're your hometown range. We want you to come in and try a gun before you buy a gun. Because if you buy a gun and you don't like it after you bought it, it's your gun. So we want to help you avoid the mistake, and then no matter what gun you buy, we're going to help you become a master of that, proficient with it, so that you have a lifelong of activity with that gun. But we've got, in northern New Jersey, no one sells more Glocks than we do. We carry CZs, we carry 6 hours, we carry any gun under the sun. We carry shotguns, we carry close quarter combat, AR-15s, AR-9s, precision rifles, you name it, full gamut of accessories, full service store. We can help you with whatever you need.
So I know that as you know, I'm new to the sport, and no pun intended, I've had a blast. I'm not a particularly good shot, but I had a wonderful instructor over here who helped me get my shooting more on point.
Oh, get your target.
And well, we can show it in the.
We'll show it
we can bring it up. But I just wanted to thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Yeah.
It was really great having you, Kevin, from Longshot Pistol and Rifle. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Thanks, folks.
Peter Biancamano back with you. Don't forget to watch us on cable access every Sunday and Monday at 9 a.m. Optimum Channel 18, Files Channel 46, and Comcast Channel 190. Also on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., you can watch our show on our YouTube channel, and you can also binge watch all of our old shows. Who doesn't want to keep watching The Pulse with Peter B? We'll see you there. Welcome back to the Pulse with Peter B. And as you can see, we are back in studio. We had that special surprise over at the gun range in Secaucus, New Jersey with Josh and Kevin, the owner over there. I was there, and thank goodness Josh did not turn the gun towards yours truly because he's been trying to take over this show for the longest time. But anyway, he made his return last week, and he's back again this week to discuss the grandest stage of them all, the mecca of wrestling pay-per-views, and that is night 2 of WrestleMania 38, only on Peacock.
Well, we do have to clarify because the WWE, if they love one thing, it's branding. So it's a premium live event.
Oh.
And it's the most stupendous WrestleMania of them all. What does stupendous mean? I don't care, but that's what they want you to say.
You know what I love, Rob? They're in Arlington this year, the home of the Dallas Cowboys. For the second time, I
Listen, the less that's said about the location of WrestleMania, the better. But being in Dallas is actually going to be fun. GCW, who I tout on this all the time, is running the collective down there, and that's literally 24 shows in 3 days, and that's a real fun event.
Look at him. Here he goes, just spewing his knowledge before I can even introduce him, and that is our pro wrestling insider and Mr. Rob Tonnesen, like I mentioned, back a second week. Rob, how are you today, sir?
Tired.
Exactly. I mean, he's a minute and a half through the segment, and he's exhausted already talking about WrestleMania, and we just started. Let's start with night 2, probably the main event of night 2, which is champion versus champion, Mr. Brock Lesnar versus Mr. Roman Reigns. I'm sure you're loving this match up and down.
I enjoy it for a lot of reasons. Number one, I've always said that Brock Lesnar has been a personal role model of mine. And what Roman Reigns has been doing in these past 500 plus days as Universal Champion has been a godsend. And Roman Reigns, especially with with Paul Heyman, has been doing really, really good work. I definitely, and as I said last week, if they're building towards Becky versus Ronda for Los Angeles, that they are definitely going to build towards Roman Reigns versus one Rock. And that's what I think.
Interesting.
That's what I think.
Is that true?
That has to be where they're going.
And
with
aren't
this.
they cousins, I believe?
The Rock and Roman Reigns are cousins. I absolutely could see WrestleMania going off the air on Sunday with Roman Reigns winning. That's my prediction. Roman Reigns winning. And as Roman is celebrating, the fireworks going off, all of a sudden the Rock's music hits and he says, "You've beat everybody, but you haven't beat me yet, Oos." And walk off stage, and they build a year for Rock versus Roman. Especially with it being in Los Angeles, it absolutely makes sense for that.
Very, very. You heard it here first, folks, on the Pulse with our pro wrestling insider, Mr. Rob Tonnesen. All right, last week we discussed the celebrity aspect of WrestleMania. We spoke about Logan Paul, who's performing in night 1, who's competing, or performing. Who knows what he's going to be doing in night 1. Here's another celebrity, Johnny Knoxville. Of course, he's taking on Sami Zayn, who I know you're a huge fan of, but I'm sure you're a little upset that Sami can't get a real match for WrestleMania here.
I'll actually say that the Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn match has been the most interesting build of WrestleMania. For those of you that have been on social media, Johnny Knoxville has been utterly trolling Sami Zayn. Johnny Knoxville actually bought a plane and flew over Florida with Sami Zayn's telephone number. And Sami's been posting pictures on Twitter of him getting 48,000 text messages in 12 hours. It's his legit phone number.
Is that true?
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
So to me, this is the WrestleMania main event because they've been working so hard at it. I definitely like Sami Zayn, but I give Johnny Knoxville all the credit in the world for doing what he's doing. It was originally supposed to be he was at the Rumble, he left, and that was it. They signed him for WrestleMania. They gave him Sami Zayn, and it's been wonderful what Johnny Knoxville has been doing, basically making chicken salad out of chicken expletive.
100%. So, I'm sorry, did you make a prediction?
I say Sami Zayn.
Oh, Sami Zayn. Okay, got it. And I'm just curious, what do you think Johnny Knoxville's? How do you think he's going to be able to perform in the squared circle?
Did you see him at the Rumble?
I did not.
He was great in the Rumble.
Is that true?
He was great.
Okay, so he might be getting some training.
Absolutely.
Very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. All right, moving on. And we're kind of staying in the whole celebrity aspect because although he was a punter in the NFL for the longest time, he's certainly more popular post-NFL career, and that's Pat McAfee. He is taking on Austin Theory, which is very, very interesting. He's getting a push. Of course, Austin Theory doing this, not this shtick with Mr. McMahon on the air and so on and so forth. But this is going to be, to me, an extremely interesting match because it's two guys who really don't have a lot of experience in the ring.
Pat McAfee does. He wrestled last year in NXT against Adam Cole. Austin Theory has been up and coming through Evolve and then through NXT. He got called up, got sent back to NXT, came up, and now he's finally in the main roster. They finally gave him something with Vince McMahon. But truthfully, to be honest with you, I'm going to go Pat McAfee only because I do have a personal hatred for Austin Theory. It is personal.
What's that personal hatred, buddy? You have to say it now.
Okay. You know his selfie gimmick?
Yes.
Okay. So he takes selfies with all these wrestlers and stuff like that, but he stole that gimmick 100% from a New Jersey independent wrestler called Too Hot Steve Scott. That's his entire gimmick. Austin Theory straight up stole it. I am not a fan of Austin Theory for that.
All right, interesting. So we are coming from two relatively newcomers to the WWE circuit, the squared circle, to two absolute legends, in my opinion. One of them is Hall of Famer Edge, taking on probably a future Hall of Famer in Mr. AJ Styles. I love this match. I really, really do.
I just want to call Mr. Pete out for a second. I told him about 8 years ago about AJ Styles, and I said he was going to be fantastic. And he kept texting me saying, no, AJ Styles, I don't know.
That was his TNA days, if I'm not mistaken.
That was when he was in TNA. AJ Styles comes to WWE, has lit the world on fire. Edge versus AJ Styles.
I was wrong, and Rob was right.
Is an absolute dream match for a lot of people, for a lot of different reasons. Edge has a new heel persona.
Love it.
Completely changed his music, which I'm sad to see because he had the same music for 14 years. But him working with AJ Styles is really the dream match. I absolutely see AJ Styles going over in that match because Edge does not need the victories. AJ Styles also doesn't need it, but it's at the same time where, well, somebody's got to do it, so might as well be AJ.
AJ Styles. Yes, I like that. I like that a lot. All right, Rob. Two-night WrestleMania extravaganza. You already mentioned that The Rock might be a surprise at the end of night 2 during the main event with Brock and Roman. Do you think there are going to be any other surprises that might occur?
It's WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania. There's always going to be surprises.
Hulk Hogan coming out or something like that.
Let's not. Let's not. I would. The Undertaker's going in the Hall of Fame.
Correct.
So Undertaker's probably going to show up in some way.
In Texas, his home state.
Exactly.
Right.
There's probably going to be whoever's around. I could see them doing whatever they can because they're gonna say 100,000 people are in Texas, so they're definitely gonna look to do something.
All right. Well, Rob Tonnesen, our pro wrestling insider, I say this every time you're on the show, but we need to get you in here discussing other promotions, AEW, and I know you mentioned JCPW. GCW. Excuse me. Yes. But hopefully in the future we'll get you in discussing other things.
Of course.
All right. I look forward to it. Thanks again, and enjoy WrestleMania only on Peacock, your favorite platform. Anyway, folks, join us next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. I'm Peter Biancamano. I hope you have a great week, everybody.